Hello, this is the Dove Lady, and I'm going to just shamelessly plug a book because I want to sell it. It's called Living Light Illuminated, and it's by Elizabeth Eagle and Grace Butler. I wrote a little bit toward the end of it, and a lot of my orb pictures are in this. Anyway, for those customers, the first six people, because I only have 6 books, I'm going to include with the book, it's kind of a thin book, and Amazon has it for $12.99, but I'm going to sell it for $10. If you want it, you will get one of my pictures of an orb that I've made into 5x7 size. See? They're in a little folder, and I have several of them. And I'll put one of these pictures in with the book. Now, that's all I'm going to do, shamelessly plug in a book. I would like to see it go viral, but, stranger things have happened, so who knows? It could. Now, this video is going to be kind of a conglomerate of a lot of the different kinds of pictures that I take of light. And I put words with most of them. This is the light photon emerging. Let me get this to go back because I'm not ready. I want to make it go when I'm ready for it to. The light photon emerging from the light source. Now, this light source is a LED light, and it's in my room, but the sun sends out the same kind of photon. Usually I don't use the sun, unless I want to go outdoors in the evening and get the slanted rays of the sun. When it's really bright overhead, you just can't take a picture of the orbs very good. Here's another picture. As the photons come out, they change in appearance. And you see the light source, they come forth there. These photons begin morphing. And they can stretch into a ribbon shape. And they take on a roundness when they get a little further out from the light source. My camera catches them in their movements. They can look like an accordion. They take on a kind of tossing of an orb back and forth in one another, to one another, which effect is according to where I aim my camera. I can make it go into the one or the other by how I am holding the camera. They can become very theatric looking, like these orbs here. I believe that they are conscious beings. They seem to be able to move from any part of themselves. They leave a luminous trail behind. They take on different colors, which I believe are the stuff that is in the space they traverse. They seem to be fluid in their movements. Light photons enter into one another. They begin to move about in spiral ways, twisting and turning. They seem to be crawling as they move about, reproducing themselves. They can twist like this. They can look like a wave. They can fold up like this. Or they can twist like this. Or they can multiply. Actually, when they multiply, it's that I'm getting several shines off of several pieces of several marbles put together where there's a lot of shiny spots. Then you get every shiny spot is an orb. They move like this too. They move like this, and then they dance with each other. They fold in many ways. They show many beautiful colors. They twist like this. They can take on this appearance like lace. Lines of color move through the orbs. Here's another twisted photon. They often have these kind of tubes in them. They show what seems to be their inside of them. They can twist like this. Or they can move and they're not even in an orb shape, but they're just moving and they're taking on fluorescent colors. This one looks like it's full of strings. Now this is for the string theorist. I hope they will watch this video because they're talking about how everything is connected by little strings. Little strings. So tiny, nobody could ever see them. And they also talk about black holes, so I have both of them here. The whole black hole goes in and the string. And here's another picture of that. And another. Now, the atoms, I think, are these round things. And this whole thing is composed of atoms. I'm looking at the subatomic particles is what I'm thinking. And I think this one right here that I'm pointing to with all the color, that is showing an orbital of the hydrogen atom. Here's the reason I think that, because this was published on a website, showed what the hydrogen atom looked like there at the top in those orange colors. And there's some of the orbitals, and I get quite a few. Well, I'll go back and show you. That looks just like that. One of those orbitals. And I get them over and over in my taking of orb pictures. And this is the self-propelling of the subatomic particles that I found on another website. I get this same kind of action. See this one in my orb that I took a picture of? Same kind of self-propelling of subatomic particles. And then some orbs have many of them, many of these little woven movements of the orbs, of the particles. And this one right here seems to be spinning round and round. And here's a couple. I have thousands of these pictures, but I'm not going to show you that many. Often there's a dark band of color that drapes itself over an orb. And it's like little black bubbles, but they become a little lighter in color as I keep filming it. Here's a spot where two spots of these bubbles are on, darker bubbles are on this orb. Here's another twist action of an orb. Now see, here's some of the bubbles. They've taken on lighter colors. They're banded about this one orb. And here's some bubbles on this one. They seem to be falling over the edge, if you can see that. Here's some on the edge of this orb. Here's some in a pocket of an orb. It looks like a little pocket. And in the very next picture, you'll see the little colorful bubbles are coming out of it. One of the orb pockets. And this is the best demonstration of them all. This looks like the orb has an outer covering and the bubbles are inside coming out. They can make a fan. They can look like this. Show that they pass through one another. Sometimes they make the most fluorescent colors. And I just get very radiant colors. This one looks like it's making a kind of a scoop to scoop up a bunch of seeds. It looks like seeds in it. This one kind of looks like the sun. These, what can I say? They just look like umbrellas, but these are orbs. And out of light is what I'm always reading. When I read the Ascended Master's words, like El Morya, he said, out of light, all is created. They make their ribbon-like travel, and strange things can be seen in them. Here's my friend Gerald. I got him under the sun and a bunch of orbs from the sun. Sometimes it makes of itself what looks like a tunnel and displays many colors and patterns within itself. As light travels orb-like, it makes what looks like a tube, then shows many colors within that tube. Now this is one I really love this one. It looked just like a wine bottle. I even wrote in there, light wine for enlightenment. This is the hydrogen atom according to science. This is the first photograph, or maybe one of the first ever taken of an atom. No, of the atom's electron orbital. Do these look like atoms in these orbs that I take? There's an awful lot of them, and they're entangled. Many of them are entangled. Look at these. I'll bring these in view. These three right here. So I take so many pictures of orbs that are full of these white rings. Big ones, small ones, little tiny ones. And the colors in the orb, what can you make of that? And there's still atoms looking orbs in this orb. There's atoms that look like atoms, even though it's full of a lot of color and pattern. I get this kind of view of an orb very often. Sometimes they have a structure that looks like a little tube-like worm-looking thing. The colors can be blended together so beautifully. It's as if this world of atoms are built up on many larger and smaller atoms, like built up upon an incrustation of atoms. Like, for instance, look at that. There's big ones and small ones over the big ones. And I've just got a few pictures here of atoms of orbs that have strange things in them and beautiful colors in them. Sometimes ribbons of light run right through the orb and other little peculiar looking things. Sometimes a dark spot will be in them. Some atoms have a white center. See, some of these have a white looking part in the center of them. And they show that there's many layers. Now the curved line balls, I actually received a communication regarding what this is showing. The message said that this was showing a process light uses to bond energy into matter. The curved line balls become very colorful. And they morph and multiply in the orb. The message I received said that this was an intelligence and that it would create for me what it knew that I wanted to bring forth into manifestation. Now this message came into my Google Drive in a file that I had only entitled but had not put anything into it. And there I looked at it one day and there was this message written into it, but not by me. I think of this little thing that looks like an X in the middle. That's the beginning of it becoming the curved line balls. It starts out looking like a little X. And Walter Russell talked about the negative principle. He said it sets two lights in opposition, and their opposing each other causes them to move about, creating matter. These days, I believe that something is being put together in the unmanifest world that is responding to a desire I have put forth into the ethers. We've never seen this realm of light before, and now it is letting us get a glimpse as the veil is thinning. Our thoughts have to become transcendent thoughts. I feel that Spirit is showing this to me and wants me to present it to the world. Now, I put this together from the words from Walter Russell. The ascent of man from the dark to the light is the forever repetitive play of man on the planets of suns. I, the one whole, and this is God's words, I, the one whole, am knowing mind. I exist to think. All thinking is light of my knowing, but my thinking is not me. I think ideal. Light registereth my ideal in the two-sexed lights of my thinking, and form is born in the image of my thinking. Form hath no existence, nor have my imaginings. These exist not, for they are not me. I alone existeth, I, the all. God's creating universe of matter in motion appears to exist. To our senses, it sequentially disappears to reappear. It has no reality. It but simulates reality through the illusion of two-way projected lights in motion. The time has come in the history of man's journey from his material jungle to his spiritual mountaintop, when it is imperative that he must live more and more in the cosmic light universe of knowing, and less in the electric wave universe of sensing. Now he explains the positive principle. The foundation of the spiritual universe is stillness, the balanced stillness of the one magnetic light of God. Balanced stillness is the positive principle of stability and unity. In it, there are no negations. Now, the negative principle. The foundation of the physical universe is motion, the ever-changing motion arising out of pairs of unbalanced conditions, which must forever move to seek the balanced stillness of unity from which they sprang, as multiple pairs of units. The God quality of the one light is seemingly transformed into quantities by being divided into pairs of oppositely conditioned light pressures of this electric universe. These divided pairs are then multiplied into countless octave wave units of light pressures, and set in opposite directioned motion to create the illusion of sequence, change, dimension, condition, and time in a universe where none of these effects of motion exist. The curved line balls, which I am getting in my pictures of orbs, was said by Spirit to me to be the process of energy being bonded into matter. I see these as looking like opposites because the curved lines are opposite the ones above it. I see them as multiplying as some orbs show many of these curved line balls in them, such as this one. Are these the divided pairs multiplied that Walter Russell spoke of? This is a character that shows up for me many times. I've given him the name Harry. Harry is a creature of light who moves about in this realm of light. This is another character that shows up in light. I see it often when I see Harry. Just because characters like this are not something we are familiar with, it's no reason to fear them. Here's Harry right in there with the atoms and the colors. Another view of Harry's friend. I capture pictures of orbs outdoors when the sun is the light source, and I get pictures like this outdoors, real similar to the ones with the LED light. I don't think this orb can be mistaken for a bug or dust. Many people see scenes with people in the orb pictures that I take. In a book by Ken Carey called The Starseed Transmissions, a being he contacted said this about who Satan actually is. For Satan, your tempter, is the materializing influence who, in its right place, is responsible for the bonding of energy in the creation of matter. The very definite statement, "I am God," is a determining factor in carrying humanity onward. With this ideal, we progress. And this was taken from a book called The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East. But now the church teaches that it is a lie from Satan to say, "I am God." And they ignore the fact that Jesus said, "Know ye not that ye are gods." Jesus could heal people because he saw them as sons of the Most High. His thought projected his vision to those who believed themselves to be ill or deformed. If we could become God-realized, we would heal ourselves and others as well. But we think of ourselves as filthy rags. God is that supreme intelligent power that permeates every form and every atom of the whole universe. When you realize that supreme intelligent power is fully centralized within your form, you are that power. And by fully acknowledging that this power acts through you, you are that power. Each and every individual has the ability to be that power. This is the God kingdom into which every individual is born. And as soon as all see and know this, all are of God's kingdom. And that is where I end this. And I hope that you will want to buy a book from me. Let me know your address. And it'll be $10, like I said, and I'll throw in a picture, a nice picture, a 5x7 for you as well. And this is the Dove Lady, over and out for now. Bye-bye.